Good evening. The table on housing proved to be a very emotive subject, so much so that half the people who were on the table decided to stay where they were for a further discussion on it. One of the most prioritable thing was more affordable housing, and this led to a big discussion on what is affordable housing. And it became obvious from the findings in the JSA that most people didn't know the meaning of affordable housing and the definition of affordable housing. And looking around, if I said to you what is affordable housing, I expect most of you would turn around and say, oh, social housing, council houses. But it's not. Affordable housing becomes apparent from the discussion is social, private and shared ownership. And that led on to further discussions about the loss of villages because of the cost of the private sector. People cannot afford to get to buy houses in the villages because of the cost of the housing, and that led to the discussion that it's 12 times the average wage of a house for a modern day house. And this led to the discussion that because they cannot afford to buy the houses in the villages, so the villages are dying. Because the shops are closing, this leads to the schools closing, and the villages eventually die because the people in the villages are moving away. Then we moved on to the discussion of social housing is getting the right people in the right type of houses, the right properties. And this led on to downsizing, because the old-fashioned way of being a social house, you rented the house and that house was yours for life. No matter what the size of it, you brought up your family in it and you stayed there. But the welfare reform means that this is going to have to change. That there's going to have to be some kind of cap on there where you turn around and says the house is yours for as long as you need it for the size of your family, and then you have to give it up. You have to downsize. At the present minute, when you downsize from a house that you're living in, it's not attractive at all. It's very unattractive because you are forced to go into some places a one-bedroom apartment. Well, now, if you're living in a house all your life and you've raised your family up there and you've got a three-bedroom house, who wants to downsize to a one-bedroom apartment? Nobody. So we've got to make this more attractive so people will want to downsize, to release the housing for the younger families to move into, people that want to bring up a family, and that's to make it more attractive. There was further discussions on industry, you know, the allocations of industries around the towns, and this led on to further discussions of better data on the housing needs in Melksham. There is, at the present minute, there is 2,000 empty properties in Wiltshire alone that have been empty for more than 6 months. 2,000 properties empty, when there is a housing need of, at the present minute, there is, on the housing list, there is 16,500, more than 16,500 families waiting for houses. Not all of these are in housing needs. You can cut that in half, those people that are really in housing needs. But even half of 16,500 is an awful lot of families waiting for housing. So there was discussions on building more housing, the type of houses that are needed, not just building for the sake of building. It's to build the proper size houses. Thank you.